Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing my 237th Mezco Toyz 112 Collective action figure review, this time being of the R.U.M.B.L.R and Death Adder. Now, taking a look at the front of this very huge box, we get some great artwork of the R.U.M.B.L.R as well as the Hazard Squad. And if we turn the box around, a really fun image of what looks to be a child playing with the R.U.M.B.L.R. And showing off the top of the box, we get some really cool comic book-like artwork showcasing the R.U.M.B.L.R and the Hazard Squad in action, and I just love it so much. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this thing open and let them breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at this new exclusive Death Adder figure. First of all, I love the first Death Adder, and man, this one might be a ton better, dude. First of all, I dig the vibes we're getting here. Very Escape from New York with these like camo pants. You know, he is a snake after all. I love this head sculpt with that gold eye. That just looks so awesome, man. He does have that eye patch that is removable, just like the original figure. But I love how it's just like this really muted black with this kind of like gray two-tone. You can see the fangs in there that look really cool. I do dig that. Again, the camo pants look awesome. I just really dig how everything turned on this. The soft goods are just so nicely done. You got a gray shirt underneath here. The boots look very cool as well. Again, I love the black and like gray two-tone that we're seeing there for like these shin guards and these kind of like straps that hold the belt on. You even get more of a flat and glossy black. Got petticoat holes in the bottom right there. Looks really good. You do have his gun holster that's just held on by these little stretchy little strings right here. The belt looks really good. All that too. I love this jacket that he's wearing. He does have a functional zipper right there. You got the Hazard Squad logo on that. But I love just how Mezco does their soft goods and how they do like this texturing and things like that. You can see that up and down the sleeve, especially if you turn around the back there. You can kind of make out the Hazard Squad logo on the back there. I mean, dude, that is impressive. And you can see all this like type of line work that we get here going throughout the vest. Looks really cool. This time around, he does have this really awesome gold robotic arm, which I'm pretty sure we've seen before. But now it's just on Death Adder here, but that gold is so bright and vibrant. I really like it a lot. It just looks so good on him specifically. And if you want to, you can remove this like jacket and then see how he looks like on there. Again, it's just like a sleeveless gray shirt underneath. So if that's what you want to do, you can do something like that. But again, I just love how it looks. You have little bits of gold here on the gloved hand with the knuckles and some little bit of a gunmetal on the fingers and things like that. It's just such a very cool looking figure, and if you want, you can head swap with the first Death Adder if that's something you want to do as well. So again, that is an option, and you're gonna learn something with this entire thing. There are a ton of options with this piece. Now, moving on to accessories, of course we're going to get a Mezco circular base stand here with the Hazard Squad Special Missions logo right there on the center, and of course we do get the clear articulated arm. We do get several interchangeable hands. You got different hands for the more gloved normal hand, and then you get more hands for the gold robotic arm, which is really rad as well. So I do dig that. So close-fisted hands, trigger finger hands, stylized posing hands, everything you're really going to need. We also do got a full arsenal with this guy. I love the little hook blades that he came with the first release. Now we get them in the gold, which looks really awesome, and I love the little detail in those. We get multiple pistols. We get a little submachine gun with a suppressor on there. Well, that's really cool. Then, you know, different types of magazines. We also do get the cigar and smoke effect, which we've seen before too. I do absolutely love that. So again, you get a lot of great stuff with this guy, and again, options are key. Now, moving on to articulation, the head and the neck are on separate ball pegs, so you get lots of good motion there. That looks really nice. Does turn left and right. Looks up very far and down that much, which is really good. And then it does pivot side to side. I'm gonna go full 360 on this side, not with this side, of course, with the jacket. You probably could if you really maneuvered enough, but you get swivel at both biceps, double jointed elbows at both elbows, rotation at the wrists, as well as a hinge at the wrist. We get a double bull peg in the midsection, so you can crunch back and forth like so, very nicely. Pivot side to side, swivel, rolls all the way around. Lots of good motion, man. Mezco has some really great bucks, and again, I just love that gold eye, right? Hips can kick forward and up that far, back about there, splits out If you want to maneuver the material about that far, rotation in upper thigh, double jointed knees where he can kick himself in his own butt, rotation at the boot there, seems to be a ball peg at the ankle so you can rotate up and down, and a very good ankle rocker. So overall, I just love this. I love that we're getting really cool variants of these Hazard Squad characters. Fingers crossed we get more Hazard Squad characters soon, man, because I love Death Adder, and I especially love this version of him. Now, moving on to the R.U.M.B.L.R itself, I absolutely do love the shape of this thing. It is a big, beefy, chunky boy, and I do appreciate that. I also love the colors here, that we're getting more of a flat and polished black, which I do like a lot. I really do love the front end of this thing, man. That front grille is just insane. I really feel like you could just mow some bad guys down. I also love like the headlights and the little signal lights, even the floodlights at the top there, all look very, very good. Take a look at the back of the car. We do see some back doors right there, but we also see a ball tow, so that kind of makes me wonder if we're going to get something else down the road where you can actually tow behind this thing, so that's very, very curious. I also absolutely love the wheels and tires on this thing. The tread on those tires looks so detailed and so incredible. Looking at the top of the truck, I just again see I love that flat black against that polished black. Looks really, really cool, man. Again, just very tactical, very nice. I also love the underbelly of this thing. I love the little bits of silver that we see for the exhaust pipes. That's really cool as well. And I also love the fact that we actually get side mirrors, where it's not just a black plastic, they actually reflective mirrors inside those. That's a really cool attention to detail. Now, what's really cool is that the R.U.M.B.L.R itself is modular, so you can see that it comes with a bunch of accessories just for the vehicle itself that can be popped off and swapped, and you can have different looks for the vehicle, so that's really cool, and I really do appreciate that. Things like the little side ladder that you could attach there just ports right in very, very easily, and you can have characters, kind of hanging onto the side of the vehicle if you want to do something like that. That bumper that I really do like can be popped off, and you can swap that for a little license plate, which is really cool. It does say Rumble with a hand flipping the bird. It does have FU at the top corner right there, and it does have a license plate cover that says Rumble Society, so that's pretty awesome. Another great feature is the fact that this thing does have a working suspension that's independent from the wheels to the actual body of the vehicle itself. And in my opinion, every type of 112 vehicle should have a working suspension. It just adds to the fun and functionality of this thing, so I really do dig how this works, and it just works like butter. One great thing is that this vehicle has pretty much every type of functioning door and panel you could possibly think of. So if you just grab them by the handles, you can lift them up. I love how the back door actually does kind of lift up at an angle, so that's really cool as well. The back doors themselves do open up to the trunk there, so if you want to store some extra accessories, you can do that. I mean, there is plenty of room for a lot of cool things back there. Even the hood of the vehicle can open up, and it can reveal some really nice engine detail, so I do appreciate all of that. There's basically a functioning sunroof, which is really cool. You just open it up like so, and you can look down on the inside and the divider of the seats where you can even see some cup holders, so that's pretty fun. Sticking to the top of the vehicle, we do have a little arm that can be ported in, and you can see it does have a little ball peg. We can bring in things like that Gatling gun, which is awesome. I do love that a lot. It does have two handles there. The barrels actually do spin and rotate, so that's a lot of fun. You can see there's a little socket where you can pop into the little ball peg like that. Really nice and easy, feels like so smooth, man. I love it so much. We do get a little panel that can be lifted up right here, just like so. And if we look down in there, we can see some steps where you could take an actual action figure and pose them in there and just grip them onto the actual handles, and he holds onto that, and you start blasting away the bad guys and all those skulls and all that really cool stuff, man. I just love this so much. In addition to the Gatling gun itself, we actually do get ammo belts, which is really cool. So you got one with the actual bullets loaded into it, and then on the other side that you port in, it's just the ammo belt itself with the ammo not in there because they have been fired. So I think it's a really cool attention to detail, man. I love stuff like that. Now, if you don't want to use the Gatling gun, this thing also comes with a missile turret. And again, you can really see that flat black mixed with that glossy black, which looks really cool. Same thing with the port that just clips right onto that ball peg, goes on really, really smooth. And again, since it's on a hinge and a ball peg, I mean, you can move this thing around, aim it anywhere you please. Again, just firing at those skulls like crazy. It's really, really cool. And again, very, very smooth. We also do get the 8 missiles, and you just plug those into the little ports right there very easily, and they do go in very nicely. We also do get rocket firing effects, which is really cool. So you can see here that I have the effect piece already plugged into one of the missiles, and I think Mezco just does amazing effect pieces. And you can plug that right into the launching missile turret itself, so you can make it look like it's firing away. We also do get these really cool smoke effects that can port onto the side of the launcher there, and it make it look like there's smoke and steam popping out of the side of the launcher when you're firing a rocket, which again looks awesome, man, especially when you're trying to get those action poses and action scenes. I think that's great for that. Another accessory that we do get is an antenna here. You can see it has a little plug right at one of the ends right here, and you can just port that in towards the back of the vehicle on the driver's side. If you just port that in, it does bend around toward the front, and you can see there is this little groove here that has a little ball socket where you can just plug in the ball end of the antenna like that, and you can see how it just kind of bends around from the front to the back of the vehicle, man. So I do like stuff like that a lot. Now, moving to the underbelly of the vehicle, we can see that there is housing for 3 batteries that do come with the vehicle, so that's really nice. We can also see that there are 3 different buttons that have 3 different functions here. So one of them there is being a working winch, so you can see you can pull on the string here, and you can pull it even more, and you can see that does have a good amount of slack to it. Now, if we go under and push that button, it's just under the driver's seat, and push it and hold it, we can see that it does retract that winch, which is so cool and so satisfying. I love that it's actually functional. If we push one of the other buttons, we can see that it does turn on and off the headlights, which is really nice, and they're very nice and bright, so I do appreciate that a lot. Same thing with the back. That same button will turn off the tail lights as well, and again, very bright and very vibrant. In my opinion, Mezco does LEDs very, very well. Now, the last button is actually for the interior LEDs. You can see them at the ceiling of the vehicle, which is really nice, and that's going to help for figure photography. You want to take interior shots of the vehicle. It's perfect for stuff like that. And we can see some of the interior while we're here. I love the fact that there's actual pedals by the feet, so that's really cool. Love attention to detail like that. But if we look closely, we can even see that there's a keyboard right there for the driver or the passenger to use, and there's even a skull on the actual steering wheel, which is really nice. We can see that there's a lot of room in the back seat, so I do love that. Space is so key when it comes to a vehicle like this, and you can easily sit a figure in the front and back seats, of course passenger and driver side, so you can fit a lot of characters in this thing. What's also really nice is that the steering wheel itself does actually turn. It doesn't actually turn the wheels, but it does rotate if you want to do that. And then moving on to the back seat, the back of the back seats actually does fold down. So if you want to fold both of those down, and again, load more cargo, accessories, weapons, whatever you want to do, you have lots of room for stuff like that. Now, as I said, this vehicle is pretty modular, so all the armor plating that you see covering the windows can be removed, revealing the green windshield, so those are pretty nice. I love the green glass like that. Even the front windshield, that whole armor plate can come off if you want to just have that type of look, a little more of a clean, streamlined look if you want to do so. You know, same thing with the rear windows, those panels can come off. Even the top rack can come off, even the side mirrors can come off, the floodlights can come off. It's pretty crazy to see all the things you can do. Remove. Again, this vehicle is very, very modular. So for some quick size comparisons, here is Death Adder standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mayfec's Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to a G.I. Joe Classified and Mythic Legions figure. And for some Mezco comparisons, here he is standing next to a Hazard Squad Gomez and the original Death Adder. And for some R.U.M.B.L.R comparisons, here is Death Adder in front of the R.U.M.B.L.R. And for some more comparisons, here is the R.U.M.B.L.R standing next to the G.I. Joe Classified Stinger vehicle. We can see that it is longer, taller, and overall just feels like a much bulkier vehicle. And for some more Mezco comparison, here is the big bad Toy Store exclusive Ghost Rider motorcycle in front of the R.U.M.B.L.R. So there it is, guys, my review of the R.U.M.B.L.R and Death Adder. Now, starting off with Death Adder, God, I love that figure. It is such an awesome piece. I absolutely love the original Death Adder, but this one just feels so much more unique and different, especially with that gold robotic arm. I love that, and all the gold accessories like his blades and the guns and things like that. I love the camo pants. I love the paint on the head sculpt with that gold eye. Looks super cool as well. And then I love that leather jacket. It's so awesome. I love the detail on that. This is an incredible piece with beautiful articulation. I absolutely love the R.U.M.B.L.R itself. Man, that is an awesome, chunky vehicle. I love how the different pieces can be popped off and swapped, and you can really get whatever look you want out of this thing. I love the two-tone blacks that we're getting. I love all the different functionality, like the LEDs and the working winch, even the suspension. I mean, my God, you could pack so many figures, characters, accessories, and all kinds of gear in this thing. It is awesome, man. I love this piece. So cool to see Mezco going into this field of larger vehicles. You know, we've gotten motorcycles, but this piece is awesome, man. I love it so much, and it is definitely a must get. So don't forget to be excellent to each other and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.